POV YN. I knew playing with a monster would get me burned, but I never planned on making him fall for me this hard. The sheer black lace clings tightly to my skin, the delicate, intricate straps digging into my thighs and wrapping around my waist. The fabric is cold against my flushed chest, a sharp, fragile contrast in the dimly lit, sprawling mirror of his penthouse. My reflection looks like a stranger, someone dangerous, someone ready to snap the chains. We're both 24 now, but it feels like a lifetime since Jungkook dragged me into his dark, suffocating world. 5 years since that rainy night when he slaughtered the men who had cornered me in the alleyway, his hands dripping with their blood, only to turn his terrifying pitch-black gaze on me and declare me his. He paid off my father's debts, but the price was my freedom. For 5 years we've existed in this toxic limbo, a secret carved out in blood, shattered glass, and whispered threats. He thinks he owns my past, my present, and my future. He thinks he holds all the cards. Tonight, I'm flipping the entire board. Heavy, hurried footsteps echo in the marble corridor. I hear his friend Taehyung calling out from the living room. "Jungkook, the shipment from the docks." The sound is abruptly cut off by the heavy oak bedroom door violently slamming shut. The lock clicks. I don't turn around. I keep my hands resting on the edge of the vanity, just watching him in the mirror. My pulse is a frantic drum in my throat, but I force my face into a mask of pure, untouchable apathy. Jungkook freezes just inside the door. The folder he was holding slips from his grip, scattering papers across the hardwood floor. His dark, storm-filled eyes. The air in the room instantly turns thick and suffocating. His jaw ticks, a dangerous muscle feathering under his skin, and his chest begins to heave. What the fuck is that? His voice is a low, vibrating growl. It's not just anger. It's pure, unadulterated, possessive madness dripping from every syllable. I turn slowly, leaning my lower back against the cold marble. I let my eyes rake over him, taking in his tailored suit, the loosened tie, the gun holstered at his hip. Clothes, Jungkook, or rather, a lack of them. He crosses the room in 2 massive strides, a predator closing in on his prey. His hands slam onto the marble on either side of my hips, trapping me against the edge. The heat radiating off his body is scorching. He smells like expensive whiskey, gunpowder, and violence. Take it off you. No. I hold his gaze, refusing to flinch. I have plans tonight, and they don't involve sitting in this gilded cage waiting for you. His hands snap up, his large, calloused fingers gripping my waist so hard I know he'll leave bruises. He pulls my body flush against his, the friction of his rough suit against the delicate lace sending a jolt of electricity straight down my spine. "You aren't stepping 1 foot out of this room," he snarls, desperate. "Who is it for, YN? Who the fuck were you going to let see you in this? Tell me his name so I can put a bullet between his eyes." "That's none of your business anymore," I whisper, trailing a careless, agonizingly slow finger down his chest right over his racing heart. "You made it very clear where we stand last week when you told me I was just collateral, didn't you?" POV Jungkook. The sight of her in that lace shatters every last ounce of my sanity. I run the city. I crush men twice my size for breathing wrong. I've built an empire on fear and ruthlessness, but seeing her, my girl, the only thing in this world that keeps my heart beating, standing there looking like a dark angel ready to sin for someone else, it makes me want to burn the whole fucking world to ashes. I can see the rapid pulse jumping in her delicate throat. I can feel We've danced around each other for years, a brutal game of push and pull, me keeping her locked away so the filth of my world couldn't touch her. I told her she was collateral just to keep her at arm's length, to protect her from my own monstrous nature. But I always knew she was mine. Mine to protect, mine to ruin. "I'll kill him," I breathe, my vision actually blurring red with a jealousy so potent it tastes like copper in my mouth. I press her harder against the vanity, caging her in. "Whoever you're dressing up for, I'll carve his eyes out and make you watch. You think I'm playing? You're pathetic when you're jealous, Jungkook." Her voice is mocking, ice cold, slicing right through my fury. Before I can react, a tight fistful of my dark hair. She yanks my head back, forcing me to look her dead in the eyes. I gasp at the sudden, sharp pain, but the thrill that shoots to my groin is instantaneous. There's a manic, beautiful, terrifying fire in her eyes that I've never seen before. "You want to act like you own me?" YN hisses, her face inches from mine. Her knee comes up, forcing me to stumble a step back. You want to keep me locked up in this penthouse while you run around playing God, acting like you don't feel anything for me? I try to step forward, to reclaim my dominance. Shut up! She shoves my chest hard with both hands. My boots slip on the slick hardwood, throwing me completely off balance. Get on your knees! I freeze. The words echo in the silent room. I stare at her, my mind short-circuiting. What? I said. She steps closer. The black lace frames her pale skin perfectly, highlighting the sharp dip of her waist. She looks like a lethal weapon, completely untouchable and entirely in control. Get on your fucking knees, Jungkook. Show me who's really in charge here, or I walk out that door right now and you never see me again. My pride screams. The Mafia boss in me, the killer who makes grown men weep, fights it with every fiber of my being. But the thought of her walking away, the thought of those long legs carrying her into the arms of another man, wearing that, it breaks me. It shatters me completely. Slowly, agonizingly, my legs give way. The heavy thud of my knees hitting the cold floor reverberates through the room. I look up at her, my chest heaving, my breathing ragged. My fists are clenched so tightly at my sides that my nails dig into my palms, drawing blood. I am at her mercy, staring up at the only person capable of destroying me. Good boy, she purrs, her voice dropping low. She looks down at me with an expression that sets my veins on fire, her eyes dark with power and a twisted kind of lust. Now crawl to me and beg me to stay. POV, Jungkook. My heartbeat is a violent, deafening roar in my ears. I am on the floor, the man who commands the criminal underworld, the man who has slaughtered his way to the top of the food chain, kneeling like a penitent sinner before the only person who has ever truly owned my soul. YN stands over me, her gaze sharp enough to cut glass. I crawl forward. The friction of the floor against my knees is nothing compared to the agony of wanting her. My hands trembling as I grip her hips, pulling her flush against my chest. Stay! I choke out, the word feeling like jagged, broken glass in my throat. I press my forehead against her stomach, closing my eyes, inhaling her. Don't you dare go anywhere. I'll burn this entire city to the ground. I'll hunt down every man who has ever looked at you, and I will erase them from existence. Just don't leave me. You are the only thing that keeps me from being a complete animal. I look up at her, my eyes burning with a desperate, naked confession. All the secrets, all the cold, calculated distance I kept over the last 5 years, it's all gone. I am raw, exposed, and entirely at her mercy. Her. I've loved you since the day I found you in that blood-stained alley. I've been terrified of this, of you, because you're the only thing that could ever truly destroy me, and God help me, I want you to finish the job. POV, YN, seeing him like this, the cold, untouchable John Jungkook, shattered at my feet, his eyes wet with a desperation that belongs only to me, makes my pulse hammer against my throat. The thrill of the power trip is replaced by something hotter, something far more dangerous. I reach down, my fingers winding deep into his dark hair, pulling his head back so I can study every inch of his face. He looks wrecked. He looks mine. You're a monster, Jungkook, I whisper, my voice trembling with the weight of my own confession. I lean down, my breath hot against his ear. But you're my monster. You spent 5 years keeping me in here thinking you were the master. Did you really think I wouldn't learn how to pick the lock? I don't wait another second. I pull him up, crashing my lips onto his. The kiss isn't sweet. You're never wearing this for anyone else. He growls against my lips, his barely walk tomorrow. I'll make you regret ever thinking you could defy me. I laugh, a breathless, broken sound, and arch into his touch, my fingers digging into his broad shoulders. Try it then. Show me exactly how much you own me, my pet. Of our connection vibrating through the floorboards. The world outside this room, the Mafia, the violence, the shadows, it all fades into nothing. There is only the heat, the lace, the skin, and the man who finally stopped running. In the silence that follows, broken only by our ragged, synchronized breaths, I realize the truth. We were always meant to end up like this. Two broken, beautiful monsters finally home in each other's arms. I'm staying. I whisper against his heated skin, but you're never letting me go again. If I crawl, you crawl with me. If I bleed, you bleed for me. That is the price of my devotion. He presses a bruising voice, a low, possessive vow that vibrates against my skin. Not in this life, not in the next, and not in any hell we end up in. You're mine, YN, always.